joining us on this edition of Keys to the Kingdom, a weekly word ministry program brought to you by Celebrate New Life Tabernacle Outreach and Family Worship Center. Keys to the Kingdom is a powerful and exciting word program presented by CNLT Senior Pastor Dr. Joseph W. Henderson.
Christians are to be steadfast in prayer. Say it with me. Christians are to be steadfast in prayer. This is the idea that is conveyed here in these 8 verses. If you would go with me to verse 1 in Luke 18. And my first point is this. The secret to steadfast prayer is not to become discouraged. The secret to being steadfast in prayer is not to become discouraged when the answers don't pop out readily. In essence, when one is praying through, you pray through, you stay committed, you stay steadfast, regardless if there is an immediate answer to your prayer or not. You stay engaged. In verse 1 it says, now he was telling them, he being Jesus, talking to his disciples, he was telling them a parable to show that at all times they ought to pray and not to lose heart in light of afflictions and the hardships of life. Do not lose heart when you pray. As he was teaching this and instructing this with his disciples, he was telling them, if you go back to chapter 17 and following, that they were going to encounter some hardships, be treated bad and misunderstood, and so on and so forth. But the things that God had promised the nation or promised the people, they would come to pass, because if God spoke it or said it, he will make sure that he will bring it to pass. But while you are praying, don't lose heart when it gets tough. Stick with it, even when it don't look like the answers are going to manifest themselves quickly, because we live in a time now where we want things instantly. We want God to move instantaneously. He can, but sometimes he does not. But this I can promise you, that when it doesn't look like he's moving or working, that is the wrong understanding and mindset to have, because the moment you pray, God starts acting. And I'll go a little bit deeper in that thought in a few minutes. But you stay steadfast. Don't lose hope in your praying. About 2 years ago, all of us was aware of this international incident. Well, I'll say accident. Down in Chile, some miners spent some 69 days trapped almost a half mile under the earth because of a mining accident. And these miners couldn't do anything about their situation. I forget the exact number of them, but I think it was a little bit over 30, or it could have been a little bit more. But for 69 days, 2 months, can you imagine being entombed in the heart of the earth, not knowing if people above are trying to get you out or even believe that you are still alive? They could not do nothing but pray. And the oldest miner that was in the group, Mario Gomez, was 63 years old and had spent 50 years of his life in the mines. When he was extracted from the earth and brought up after being rescued, when he got out of that tube, he immediately dropped to his knees to pray once he was extracted. And this is what he said: I never lost faith that they would find us. 69 days. Experienced man never lost faith that they would be found. Trapped. They couldn't do anything. They could only depend on the people above. Sometimes we find ourselves trapped in situations that we cannot bring about a change or to resolve ourselves, but we have to depend on somebody above. Y'all, man.
We hope you have enjoyed this message of hope and inspiration, and that you will tune in next week for another edition of Keys to the Kingdom. If you would like to purchase a cassette or CD of the complete broadcast, write to Celebrate New Life Tabernacle Audio Department, 3050 Agape Lane, Tallahassee, Florida, 32311. Please enclose $5 to cover the cost for each cassette tape or $12 to cover the cost for each CD. You may also call area code 850-671-4519 to request your order.